So there is a language that has never been spoken out loud. It's a language that doesn't really rely on words, yet it has been used by mystics, teachers, and initiates across centuries. It's a language that is hidden in symbols and stories and parables. It is a language that reveals itself only when you are ready to see it. Because the truth is, spiritual teachings were never meant to be understood only intellectually. They were meant to be recognized. So today we're going to explore what I call the language of the initiated and why truth is often hidden in symbols, why it can't always be explained directly, and how you begin to understand it not by learning more, but by becoming aware. Because have you ever heard something and it didn't make sense at first, but later it just clicked? The same words, the same message, but a completely different understanding. Or maybe you've read a passage, watched a video, or heard a teaching, and something inside of you said, there's more here. Like you could feel the meaning, even if you couldn't fully explain it. That feeling is the beginning of understanding this language. Because the language of the initiated is not something that you memorize, it's something that you begin to perceive. So, if truth is so important, why isn't it just spoken plainly? Why the symbols? Why the metaphors? Why the parables? And it's because some truths cannot be fully understood through logic alone, they have to be experienced. A symbol bypasses the analytical mind and it speaks directly to your awareness. And this is why ancient teachings used, stories instead of explanations, symbols instead of definitions, and parables instead of just giving instruction. Because a symbol doesn't give you the answer, it invites you to discover it. And there is a difference between knowing something and recognizing it. Information is something that you collect, recognition is something that clicks within you. And you can read about awareness, but until you become aware of your own thoughts, it just remains information. You can hear about the soul, but until you experience a deeper sense of presence, it remains a concept. You see, the language of the initiated operates through recognition, and it doesn't try to convince you. It reveals something that was already there. And this is where the mysteries really deepen because two people can hear the same teaching and they walk away with a completely different understanding. And why this happens is because meaning is not just the words, it's in the state of awareness of the listener. So if someone is listening only intellectually, they hear ideas. And if someone is listening with awareness, they perceive meaning beyond the words. So this is why certain teachings seem simple, but contain layers of depth. And you don't unlock them by studying harder. You begin to see more as your awareness deepens. You see, symbols are not static. They are alive with meaning. The rose, the cross, light, darkness, the journey. They're not just concepts. They are reflections of inner experiences. So when you see a symbol externally, it is really pointing to something internally. And as your awareness grows, the same symbol begins to reveal more. What once seemed simple becomes profound. And that is the language of the initiated, a language where meaning evolves as you do. See, initiation, or the word initiation, often sounds external, like something given by a teacher or a system. But the deeper truth is this, initiation is internal. It is the moment when something shifts in your awareness, when you stop just hearing something and you begin to see the meaning. So when a teaching is no longer just an idea, but something that you recognize within yourself. And no one can force this. No one can give it to you. It just happens whenever you are ready to perceive it. One of the biggest shifts on the spiritual path is moving from the literal understanding to a more symbolic understanding. And instead of taking everything at face value, you begin to ask, what is this pointing to? What does this represent internally? The stories become mirrors, the symbols become guides, and teachings become experiences. And this shift changes everything because now you are no longer just consuming information, you are engaging with meaning. So, how do you begin to understand this language? First, you got to slow down. Instead of trying to immediately understand everything, allow space for recognition. When you hear something that resonates, sit with it, observe it, feel it, really observe what it brings up within you. And second, begin to look at your life symbolically, your experiences of symbols, your challenges, your patterns. What might they be reflecting? And finally, guys, just trust your inner recognition. Not everything will make sense right away, but if something feels meaningful, there is a reason. So the language of the initiated is not hidden to keep people out. It is hidden because it cannot be fully seen. Not until you are ready to see it. And it is not about becoming part of a group or gaining access to secret knowledge. It is about becoming aware of what has already been present, the symbols, the teachings, the patterns, because they are all around us. And as your awareness deepens, so does your understanding. So if this message resonated with you, I want you guys to take a moment to reflect. Has there been a teaching or a symbol or an experience in your life that seemed to reveal deeper meaning over time? What changed? Was it the message or was it your awareness? Share your reflections in the comments, guys. And if you feel called to explore deeper teachings on symbolism, consciousness, and even spiritual awakening, make sure you subscribe to the channel because in this series, we're continuing to understand the language that has been speaking to humanity for centuries, waiting to be recognized. And until next time, guys, remember, the truth is not hidden from you. It is waiting for you to simply see it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.